Vietnamese-inspired spring roll. So I'm going to be using a variety of vegetables here. So you can really add anything you'd like to these rolls. So here I have some, just going around in a circle, I have some mung bean sprouts. So these come in these big plastic bags. Next, I have carrots. I have red bell pepper. I have purple onion. I have green bell pepper. I have some cucumbers, and I have a whole bunch of green onions. Green onions are one of my favorite foods, so I usually have like 2 bunches just always in my fridge. You can add it to ramen, you can add it to literally anything. It's just amazing. And I have some cherry tomatoes. I don't know if I'm going to add cherry tomatoes to the rolls today, but you know, it just goes to show you can really add anything you'd like to these rolls. So
I asked Kavin to add avocado, but
yes, avocado is a really great form of healthy fat, just like Erica mentioned, but I'm allergic to avocado, which really sucks living in California and being vegetarian, because usually avocado is the premium thing that people put in those like the vegetarian options. So it's a little unfortunate. So the next thing that I'm going to be prepping is the rice paper. So they come in packets like these. These are very thin rice papers. And if you notice, there's very little ingredients in them. It's just rice flour, tapioca flour, salt, and water that goes into them. So the way that you prepare these, so this is an unopened package. I have an open package over here. I'm going to add some water to my plate. So just a little bit of water. And this is to hydrate the rice paper. So this is going to be a little tricky with the minimal space that I have, but it's just so that everyone can see it easy. So I have rice paper in another container here. I'm going to grab a sheet. And this is one of my favorite things to do because rice paper is actually really, really affordable. Oh, these are all falling apart. Never mind. I guess I will be using the pack that I bought.
oh wait, I have to say something. That some people are seeing only you, but you have to pin. I did it by how do you do it? How do you pin the food? Because I have it, but they're looking at you rather than the food.
I think they are looking at just the food and not me. So it says that we can only see the pinned rectangle of, so they can't see my face, which is, it's fine.
Oh, that's okay. I can see. Yeah, you want to see the food, not his face.
Yeah, so I just quickly opened this rice paper package. So if you see, they're around, I'm not sure how big this is, but you know, it's like around the size of my hand. So the key to this is not letting it sit in the water for too long. So I'm just gonna slide it underneath the water. And since my plate isn't big enough, I'm just gonna spread out the water a little bit. But count to 10 in your head when you're doing this, because if you leave it for longer than that, it'll tear easily. So I'm gonna remove the blender from here. I'm gonna step off. So now that it's been around 10 seconds, I'm going to pull I'm just going to make sure all sides of the rice paper are wet. It's important to get it just hydrated enough. So we're going to push this up to the side and I'm going to put it on this cutting board / placemat. So now that it's on our surface, the first thing I like to add is some greens. So you can add literally any kind of lettuce, any kind of greens that are available to you. And in regards to sourcing this, I actually grabbed most of these ingredients from my dining hall on campus. So for everyone that's going to go to college soon or is in college right now, you know, you can grab ingredients from any kind of resource. It doesn't matter where it comes from. And people like to add a variety of fillings inside here. Typically, you can add seafood like shrimp, but since I'm vegetarian, sometimes I'd like to add sauteed or fried tofu. So I started off with a bed of just like the greens, and you can see this a little better. So I started off with just a bed of greens, and then I'm going to slowly add the rainbow of vegetables that I had prepared before this. Carrots are the hardest things for me to cut. I'm just going to put that out there. Carrots are the most difficult thing for me to cut. Next thing, just to get a little bit of that color, I'm going to add these purple or red onions. I know that this might be a little too intense for some people, but I love red onions. I love onion flavor. So after the onions, I'm adding a little bit of a cucumber. So we got a lot of those colors on there. And just for that added bit of flavor, I am adding some green onions. All right. So now it's the fun / tricky part. So we're going to fold this up. I'm going to attempt to fold this up. So first, I like to tuck in the sides just a little bit, almost like wrapping a burrito. So tuck in the sides. Grab this end of the rice paper here. Don't put everything centered on the plate and wrap it over most of your vegetables. See how it caught most of it? Most of it, of course. And then we're just going to roll it as tightly as we can. And jump ship a little bit, but there we go. So this is an example of a spring roll that you can do. So a really great, oh, tore just a little bit, but you know, that's the importance of not soaking it for too long. So we're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. So here we go. So this is our rice paper roll rolled up completely. And you know, you can eat this by itself. There's not a lot of flavor. There's not any like dressing or anything, but basically it's a salad wrapped up in rice paper. But I have a really delicious recipe for a sauce that I love to do. So I'm a big fan of peanut butter. I'm almost done, almost done. Yes, I'm a good fan of peanut butter. So I have this measuring cup here. And I'm not sure if everyone is aware of this, but there is a powdered peanut butter available, which is just dehydrated peanuts. They'll take peanuts and they'll like finely ground them. And this is extremely fine peanut butter powder. So I have around 1/4 of a cup of peanut butter powder here. I'm going to add it in here. And this is a healthier alternative to peanut butter because it contains less fat because you're just eating dehydrated peanuts. If you're unaware, usually peanuts have a lot of oil in them, and especially if you want them to spread smoothly on toast, they'll add a lot of vegetable oils and different things in them to make them really creamy.
Sometimes they even add sugar to that.
Exactly. I'm using this powdered peanut butter alternative. You can get, there's, you know, this is available almost everywhere. So the ingredients in this one are just roasted peanuts that have been dried, and they add a little bit of sea salt and sugar, just like Eric had mentioned. But this is an alternative to typical peanut butter. So I'm going to add some water to this. And this is the beauty of this peanut butter. You can make it as thick or as thin as you need it to be. So I'm going to be adding just a little bit more water to get our consistency going. And then I will be using this spoon to just stir it up. So now that we have our makeshift, you know, our dehydrated, ready to make peanut butter. So if you've seen, it's kind of coming together a little bit smoother as you add the water to it. So we're trying to make a peanut butter sauce. So instead of, you know, adding a whole heaping tablespoon of peanut butter and adding water to dilute it out, here we have the luxury of controlling the consistency ourselves. So now that the peanut butter is in like a saucy way, I'm going to add sriracha. So, or any kind of hot sauce. I like to add a little bit more to it just to get that kick. And next thing I'm going to add is soy sauce. So, you know, again, it's all about resourcing and finding materials wherever you can. So whenever there's a free soy sauce packet, I grab it instead of buying a whole bottle myself. So right now I'm going to cut open this soy sauce packet and put that in there as well.
I'm loving the dorm editions, the wisdom from dorms.
Exactly. And this isn't necessarily wisdom. This is just how I live my life. So, and to add a little bit more flavor, this is completely optional. I love adding just a little bit of sesame oil. This is completely for flavor. I love the flavor of just Japanese toasted sesame oil. So I'm just going to add a few drops of that. And this is, again, completely optional. A couple of other things I like to add, you can add a little bit of lime to your peanut sauce. You can add all sorts of different things. Some people like to add a little bit of honey for sweetness. That's completely up to you. But now that we've mixed that up, we have a delicious peanut butter sauce for our vegetable spring rolls.
Wow.
So I'm going to spare you all the time of making all of them, but the best.
And you now have breakfast, Kavin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you just dip it in and you enjoy.